ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Again, today we have CZ with us. He doesn't need an introduction, but CZ has built Binance from a white paper idea to the largest financial network in crypto's history. And he didn't do it because it was easy. He did it because it was the inevitable. CZ has operated on the cross intersection of technology, regulation, pressure, and scale. So there's a lot to learn from him. At a point when Pakistan itself is at an inflection point. With a young, digital, underutilized population, we are ready to plug into the financial system in a new way. And this is why we have CZ here with us again today in Pakistan. CZ, welcome to Pakistan again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again. It's a pleasure to be here again.
CZ, you are essentially one of the most regulated guys in the world. You've seen all these territories. Tell me, why Pakistan?
Well, I think number one, Pakistan have you, and number two, Pakistan moved really fast on this crypto regulation. And I think the leadership of the country understands what the young population wants, which is proper crypto adoption. So I think it's fantastic to see the country of this size are able to have this clear vision from the leadership and ability to move at this speed.
So today, the Pakistan Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority has given out NOCs, as you know.
Yeah.
What do you think? How could this be an instrumental moment in the trajectory of the economy of this country? What benefits on a broader scale would a country like Pakistan have by doing this? Because there's still a lot of confusion. So it's not easy for the leaderships to kind of push this.
Sure. I think most people underestimate the impact of crypto, the positive impacts it has on the economy. I think just a few numbers, right? There's way more people in this country who use crypto than they are using banks. I think the people using crypto are in the millions, and the people who are using banks are probably in the hundreds of thousands. As you said, right? So the people who are trading stocks are probably around 300,000 people, whereas today Binance hosts 300,000 or 300 million people trading crypto. So the population in crypto is actually much larger. And number two is many of the current activities before the regulation, they're kind of in a gray area. People are not sure whether how to conduct them, etc. And many of this falls kind of under the radar, where the reserves for the users are now counted towards the nation's foreign reserves. Many of the transactions are not included in the tax calculations. The tax policies for crypto still have to come. We would like to see favorable regulations on that as well. There are many industries which are really big, the exchanges, the stable coins, tokenizing of assets. All of this brings more investments into the country in an indirect way. So if you think about it, if you can tokenize a commodity, a reserve, it can be gold, it can be energy, it can be something else. If you can tokenize and distribute that, then you actually get investments for that. So a lot of this actually really helps the country's economy. So the more economic activity there is, the more likely the population is going to benefit. They're going to when the population becomes richer, the country becomes richer. So all of this is hugely positive for a large country, large population like Pakistan.
But a lot of different regions are doing this. Why do you think Pakistan is different right now?
Well, Pakistan has quite a few interesting advantages. It's a very young population. The younger populations are typically more early adopters. They're tech-driven. They're easy to adopt new technologies. Number two, I think based on my interactions with Pakistan over the last year or so, Pakistan moves really fast. So when the leadership, have a clear vision and the leadership understands what the population wants, it moves really fast. And Pakistan's already, according to different reports, already like the top 3 crypto country in the world that have the largest population who have crypto. So all of those factors are really good for crypto and Pakistan.
So Pakistan is essentially moving at the crypto speed.
Yes, pretty much.
To regulate digital assets. So this is amazing. CC, you also recently got a pardon. Please tell us more about this and how do you feel? Because you've really taken a hit for the industry.
Well, first of all, it feels really good to be pardoned. I think if you're really hungry and then you get food, it always feels good. So I think, I've personally been through a lot. I still think that's the best decision for myself, for our team, for all the BNB holders, and for crypto in general. I think for all of those groups of people, it's the best decision, and it's also the best outcome. So I want to especially thank President Trump. I think this just restores my faith in the U.S. justice system. So I think that's a great thing to happen, and it's also in some ways a validation for crypto because a lot of people think of me as the crypto guy. Having a partner for me personally, it's good for me personally. I really appreciate it, but it's also a vindication of how far we've become. Now the mainstream, the biggest governments in the world are recognizing crypto is a proper technology, it's good innovation. Yeah.
No, I think President Trump has done tremendous, just like you, for the industry. He's essentially saved the industry. He came at a very critical time. And I think that narrative, how he's driving, of course, helps a lot because there is still a lot of negative perception in different territories. So, yeah, President Trump has also been a great sort of leader where he stopped a war between these two countries in Pakistan and with our neighbors. So that is amazing. Pakistani youth, you spoke about it.
Yeah.
How can Pakistani youths turn from consumers into actually be builders and creators in this country? Because right now, yes, the adoption is there, but we do have a lot of talent. And that talent, how do they become great builders?
Sure. So I think there's way more opportunities in crypto than any other industry. So if you think about traditional financial industry, if a young person wants to start a bank, it's pretty limited opportunities. I don't think there's a lot of opportunities. If they want to build an AI company, they probably don't have the large data, the large compute, all the chips, etc. So both of those, all of those industries require quite a bit of resources to do a startup, to innovate. Whereas in crypto, it's all virtual. If you interact with the blockchain will never reject you. And if you build a protocol, you can and there's a very active community in the blockchain space, and they're all mostly early adopters today. So there's way more opportunities for innovation in the blockchain space, in my opinion. And I think we just got to educate the youth more. So we need to push more education, more university programs, etc., more entrepreneurship programs, more incubation seasons, etc. So, and I encourage all Pakistan has a very strong youth developer ecosystem. Many of them work on outsourced development work for overseas projects. I think, look, you can participate in overseas projects, and then once you learn enough experience, you can build your own project. So I think innovation, blockchain is one of the best places for younger people to innovate.
So if you were 23 or 24 today, and just like you wrote a white paper back in 2017, what would you start off with if you were to do something now?
So if I was like that much younger, if I was 20 years younger, I would definitely experiment with startups early. But at the same time, I would advise that people control the risks. Don't borrow all your family's money and lose it, and just spend it and not have a successful project. Entrepreneurship is high risk, so learn to control risks, learn to experiment, pivot, learn cheap ways to find product market fit. And once you have a product that people want, double down on scale. So basically entrepreneurship, at least the way I look at it, is that simple from a high level conceptual point of view. But finding product market fit is really, really hard. So you have to continually pivot. But luckily today, if you have a good project in crypto space, raising money is not an issue. There's lots of money floating around. It's very easy to raise money, issue a token. You can do ICO, IEO, IDO. You can even do a meme coin. There's multiple ways so there's enough money in the industry. There's multiple ways to raise money. And this is probably the first time that a non-Western country can raise money. Entrepreneurs from non-Western countries can raise money easily. So a blockchain offers that. So if I was a younger person, I would say, look, experiment with startups early, learn about product, how to build products, build a team around you, have technologists, have product people, have customer support people, etc. So build that team and build that group of friends that you can work with, and try to build products other people can use.
You mentioned meme coins.
Yeah.
But the meta keeps on changing, meme coins to prediction markets to DEXs. You think meme coins are still a thing, or have we kind of moved on?
I'm really not too sure. So again, I'm not a very good predictor of markets. We follow trends. So right now, there's a lot of discussions about prediction markets. But prediction markets is a small sector of the entire industry. It's an important sector, and I think it has a lot of potential to grow. Is memes over or not? I really don't know. And then what's the next thing? I also don't know. It depends on the builders who build those products. So If we have a team of 10 guys that build a killer product, then that's going to take off. So that's going to build a new sector in the industry. But I think for entrepreneurs, you should follow trends, but you don't chase everything. For example, Binance is an exchange platform, so we list projects. In that sense, we follow trends. We support different hot areas, etc. But it doesn't mean just because memes are hot, we drop everything else. It doesn't mean when prediction markets are hot, we drop everything else. Now, AI is very hot now. It doesn't mean that we drop exchanges and do AI. You should find a combination of what you're interested in, what you're good at, I would change that. I would say what you're passionate about, not just interest. You have to be really passionate about it. And then what you're good at and what has value for other people. So just because something else is hot right now, if you don't know how to do a prediction market, don't do it. Right? If prediction market is your thing, then do it. Even when it's so there's some balance between following trends versus building for your passion. Many things take many years to build, and then suddenly they become hot. And then when that thing becomes hot, you have to be ready to catch that opportunity. So that takes many years before that to build that expertise and knowledge.
So already you've been in the industry for a decade, right?
Yeah.
People think they are late. People still kind of say, oh, Bitcoin is $100,000. Why should we buy if CZ had bought it like, let's say, what was your first buying price?
I bought it around $600.
600.
Yeah.
Are we still late?
No, we're not late.
Okay.
So I think any industry takes multiple decades to build. If you look at the internet, there's still plenty of internet startups that are very successful within the last 2, 3, 5 years. So it doesn't mean that just because the internet is 30 years old, there's no opportunities. The technology continues to evolve. And if we look at the internet, right? In 1995, we said, look, we're going to have virtual reality conference calls soon. We still don't have that. Even today, the video calls, many times we're like, hey, can you hear me? Signal's not really working, etc. So there's many more things to be built on the internet. There's many more things to be built on the blockchain, and there's many more things to be built in the AI space. So all of these industries are still relatively new. Of course, blockchain has been there for about 10 years or so, but this is actually the ideal time to build because if you're a super early adopter, the regulations are much more uncertain. The penetration is much smaller. The adoption is much smaller. The other factor is actually just look at adoption rate. I think if you look at adoption, we're nowhere near saturation for crypto. People estimate probably about 7 to 10% of people in the world have some level of crypto access. But then if you look at their net worth, probably less of that 7% of people, less than 10% of their net worth is in crypto. Many of them just buy a little bit and buy like a couple $1,000s and just to have it. So in net worth wise, we're probably less than 0.7% adoption. So we're nowhere near saturation, right? So there's going to be many more new products. We don't have crypto insurance. We don't have crypto prediction markets are still pretty new. There's poly market, but it's by no means saturated the market. So we don't have crypto payments. We don't have a lot of crypto stuff. Well, we have crypto payments, but they're not big. So we have not, the industries have not really developed too much. So I think there's many opportunities.
In 6 months' time, whatever the price of Bitcoin is, what would you tell to somebody, who's kind of still thinking whether it's late for me to buy Bitcoin? And what's your target? Last time we spoke when we were in Lahore, you said $1 million, and you did mention that that we are just starting a cycle.
Yeah.
Where are we now?
Right now, it's a little bit hard to tell. So there's two sort of theories that people talk about. This is partially my opinion, but just things I hear about. One is the crypto has 4-year cycles, so we should be near the peak of the bull run if we go by the 4-year cycles. So what's going to happen next year? Are we going to enter into a crypto winter or? But there's another force which is quite strong as well. Is the U.S. government is very pro-crypto right now. We have never had the world's largest government supporting crypto that strongly. And also there's an election coming, there's a midterm election in the U.S. next year. And based on everything I heard, President Trump kind of measures his success by the stock market performance. So with the quantitative easing, with the rate cuts that's coming, very likely the U.S. stock market is going to do well. When the stock markets do well, people have more cash and they diversify into the crypto investments, etc. So historically, we've seen that when stock markets do well, crypto also do well, and vice versa. So that force is quite strong as well. So that could actually be the factor that continues what we call a super cycle. Again, I cannot predict future, but I'm a builder in the space. So I actually don't look at day-to-day prices that much. I just stay in the. I'm not going to exit the industry. So we're just going to continue to build in the industry for the next 20, 50 years.
So if that is going to happen in the US, for countries like us today, you would also signed a document, a MOU on the $2 billion between Pakistan and Binance. What does that mean for a sovereign nation?
So I think, well, this is the power of crypto. We're very confident that by adopting having the proper regulations in place and by welcoming crypto exchanges in, we can significantly increase the reserves for the country, basically.
Okay.
So, well, Binance is a custodial exchange. We hold many of the user's assets. Typically, in banks, you will count the user deposits or funds towards some kind of a national reserve, and crypto probably should be classified as a foreign reserve because it's not issued by the country natively. So we believe by just having the exchange licensed, you can increase the country's foreign reserves significantly. On top of that, we facilitate a lot more remittances, and most of the remittances come one way from outside of Pakistan into Pakistan. And then if we also embark on stable coins or tokenizing of the different assets, that brings a lot of foreign reserves into the country, I believe. So I think that's a very good thing. Every country wants that. So I would think that would be a very good thing for Pakistan.
So every country should follow the model of having a reserve, a Bitcoin reserve, and some other cryptos in it. And
Absolutely.
every country you are suggesting or advising must also look at tokenization, just like Pakistan is looking.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think tokenization is coming regardless, with a few countries, with or without any country. Many countries will tokenize their assets. There's good and bad ways to tokenize your assets. The bad ways, you tokenize your assets, you spend all the money, and then the assets belong to somebody else. There are better ways to tokenize your assets where you don't have to sell the assets immediately. You can sell the token. Once you get the money, you have a financial market that you can invest. You can build other tools to enhance that asset type. I'll give you a very, 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 very simple and clear example, right? U.S. had a lot of oil, but they were all in hard to extract places. So to extract those oil, you need a lot of money. You need to invest a lot of money to be able to extract them. Once you extract them, then you can sell the oil. The U.S. had a good stock market, so that was people were investing very heavily into the oil companies. So the oil companies got money up front, so they can invest in the drilling technologies, which eventually led them to have a large amount of oil. So a lot of those similar situations happens with many commodities that countries have. So without the investment, you may not be able to build a market for that asset. Whereas if you can tokenize it first, then you will have the money to build that industry. So many people don't realize this yet.
So you think that we can tokenize the Pakistan stock market as well, and what benefit would that bring to the normal user of the country?
Absolutely. So let me ask this way. So which country doesn't want the global population to buy their stocks?
Zero. No,
right?
No country.
Yeah, so every country, when you on your stock market, you have Pakistan companies. You want the world to buy those stocks.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There is no company that will say no to this.
Exactly,
The influx
right?
of no company.
Right. So in that way, tokenizing stocks allows the global population to buy those tokens. That is basically direct investment into those stocks of Pakistan. So the countries who do it first will reap the benefits. So we're already seeing US moving pretty quickly. Abu Dhabi is moving forward as well. And I believe Pakistan can and will move very quickly, given the speed that we saw over the last year or so. So I think, so that's a huge benefit for the Pakistan listed companies, the Pakistan stocks, which in turn will benefit the Pakistan economy and the population.
So if we keep on moving at this speed, by 2035, where do you see us?
Well, I don't think we need to wait that long. If we keep moving at this speed, in 5 years, Pakistan will be the crypto leader, one of the crypto leaders in the world. And being a leader in crypto will have significant economic benefits for the country and for the population.
But there are countries that are also, and including Pakistan, we have certain realities like the flight of capital issue that we have. How do you think that these misconceptions can be addressed? And this is the same across all emerging markets.
Right. So again, I'm not a regulatory expert, but on the flight of capital, I have some controversial opinions, which I'll share directly. I think number one is the people try to control a flood of capital. In many countries have this for FX controls. So I think those are good. Those are fine. Those are effective to some extent. So I think in crypto you can adopt those regulations too. So there's nothing that you can do in banking that you couldn't do in crypto. So you can have the same limits, etc. That's one third of the solution. I think the other stronger solution is to say, look, if you're building an economy that's growing quickly, money will stay and more money will come. Foreign investment will come. So the smart money doesn't invest in super mature markets. Super mature markets have limited growth potential. The highest growth speed and highest growth potential is in markets where they have a lot of growth potential. We saw this in China over the last couple of decades, right? So it's not like 20 years ago, it was not the world's leading economy, but it's grown so much because of the good governance, etc. So in countries where they have good governance, they encourage technology innovation, just business innovation in general. That's probably the best way to prevent capital flight, because not only there will be less capital flight, more money will come in. The other thing, which is a bit counterintuitive in my opinion, is if you have FX controls too strongly, then the money couldn't come in. Foreign money, if they come in, they need to be able to leave. If you cannot take money out, the foreign investments are likely to put money in. So that's a thing that some countries are too restrictive. So while I do support the controls for FX for capital flight, I think it's important. But I think it's more important to build a very strong economy that's fast growing. That's probably the best way to solve that problem. And I think Pakistan is on the path of welcoming many new technologies into the country, including crypto, including AI, including data centers, including mining. So I met a lot of business leaders here already, and I see the trend. So for me, this is a very, very good trend to see.
And in terms of the trend of emerging technologies, how do you see quantum and AI impacting the crypto ecosystem? And especially, there's a lot of rumor around Bitcoin and quantum. What is your take?
Sure. So I can talk about it a little bit separately. I think the more computing power we have, the better. So the better it is for crypto, the better it is for humanity. Because with more computing power is more productivity. We can do way more things. So with quantum computing, we will have it will be able to potentially decrypt some of the encryption mechanism we have today, but we'll have new encryption mechanisms. It's always cheaper to encrypt than to decrypt. So if we use the same quantum computing to encrypt, then it will take them that much longer to decrypt. So it just means that we have to upgrade the encryption mechanisms in some of the protocols, which there are ways to do. So there are ways to upgrade Bitcoin protocol. There are ways to upgrade every other protocol. So the more compute we have, the more secure it is. So the computer doesn't work only on decryption. Computer also helps encryption. So there are also some nuances. They say, well, if Satoshi Nakamoto is not going to move his coins off his addresses, and no one else have those access to those addresses, then would the first quantum computer hacker be able to decrypt all his coins? There are ways to go about it. Bitcoin is a protocol that's maintained by the community. The community as a whole can vote to say, look, we're gonna the next upgrade of the protocol, if we're near quantum compute, where we think that's pretty close to decrypting those addresses, we can say the next upgrade, we're just going to lock those addresses, right? So if a community collectively decide that's the best thing to do, then it's okay. It's still decentralized. It's not centralized, but we still have solutions for that. On the AI part, the same thing. The more AI agents we have, I think the better it is for crypto. I think if we just take one use case, which is payments, let's say AI will develop. We each going to have thousands of AI agents working for us in the background, and many of them are doing microtransactions, etc. So AI is going to have like 1,000 times more transactions, doing that much more transactions for us. And which currency are they going to use? They're going to use blockchain. That's the most native technology-driven interface. AI is not going to be able to do a selfie, KYC verification. They can't swipe a card. So AI is going to use blockchain. So crypto is the currency for AI. So the more AI we have, the more they're going to use blockchain. So I think the newer technologies will use the older sort of technologies. AI is a new technology that will use blockchain, that will use internet. And blockchain uses internet very heavily, but blockchain can also benefit from using AI a lot. So that's just one use case, which is just purchasing or payments. There's many other use cases AI can bring to blockchain and vice versa. So I think we're just at the beginning. I can't imagine all the possibilities, but the smart entrepreneurs will develop those applications over time.
But robotics as well will transact on the blockchain. in
Absolutely,
crypto, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Robotics again, they cannot go open a bank account.
Yeah.
So they will just have to transact on the blockchain.
Do you guys plan to create a Binance robot who can trade on my behalf?
Well,
Because I do believe that with AI, a lot of people can have that sort of knowledge where they're not really experimenting. Maybe they can trade in a very risk mitigated way. What's your sort of thoughts on AI in helping you to trade?
I think AI will help significantly in how people trade. That's a huge impact. But I think there are there's different potentials how it plays out. I think a lot of the large traders, they're already using AI very heavily for data analysis, for trend analysis, social media analysis, etc., and even making trading decisions. And again, how you define AI, everybody have a different definition. Not everybody is using a large language model to train their models. So the one school of thought is if you have a really good AI agent that trades and can make a lot of money, then you will just use your own money to trade. There's another group of thought is like, oh, we're going to make AI agents platforms for retail for everybody that's available. People can customize it, and so we're going to make the tool easier to use. But if an AI algorithm is really profitable, once a large number of people, if everybody uses it, then yes, no demand. So there's some counter arguments to that. The counter argument to that counter argument is that, okay, if you make an AI platform that allows people to customize on their own easily, so people don't have to build their own AI, that's still valuable as a platform. So there's some arguments to that. But overall, I think AI is going to change the way we trade for sure. It's going to be AI versus other AIs and plus some human element into it. We're already seeing competitions like AI versus human trading in the community already. So I think we're going to see more and more of that grow. And also, I'm not sure how good large language models is for trading. So I think we will see more and more specialized AI models just for trading.
So you are not a trader, essentially. You don't day trade?
I don't day trade at all. I can go for a month without logging into Binance at all. And then I log into Twitter. I'm on Twitter much more than I'm on Binance. Yeah, so I don't trade. Yeah. So and also I don't have decades of experience in trading. So that's why AI trading is not something that I think is in our core expertise. And if we delegate to some other small group, there's conflict of interest, etc. Yeah.
So you are a holder?
I'm a holder. Very simple holder.
You still buy BTC?
Well, I don't have cash. I don't have fiat, so I actually can't buy BTC even if I want to. But the exchange platform, Binance, they receive fees in every cryptocurrency they support. So a large chunk of that is in BTC. So in a sense, we're receiving our income in BTC, plus BNB, plus stable coins, etc. So in that way, we're indirectly accumulating more and more BTC.
So CZ, you don't have fiat?
No.
Like, if I was to ask you, how much cash do you have?
I have very little cash. But I do have I do have this thing. It's like a card, right? So this is my interface to fiat. So it's like a Visa card. When I swipe, the merchant gets fiat. The crypto in my BNB in my account gets deducted in real time. I don't care what the price is. I just spend on any day the price at any day. That works for me. So
you are hedging always against somebody else's monetary policy is not affecting you?
The monetary policies don't affect us.
You are outside the system.
We're outside the fiat system. We're in the crypto system. The crypto system has more volatilities versus fiat, depending on how you view it. But if you benchmark yourself in crypto, you don't care. It's just that your spending power changes from day to day. But I can tolerate the volatilities. That doesn't bother me. If I look at the long term, like 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, crypto's going up.
BNB, you mentioned that you spend BNB. You've also met other country leaders, and some have recognized BNB. Please tell us more about it, and to all the world leaders who are listening, that why should a country do it? So,
so at least three countries have BNB in their national crypto reserves: Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Bhutan, And there's a number of countries that I'm talking to that kind of in the process. Hopefully we'll get Pakistan on the list as well. In addition to Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin is probably the hardest currency in the globe right now. It's the most limited, the guaranteed limited asset. So even countries hold foreign reserves, right? But foreign reserves are not limited assets. The other country can print more money, and almost every country does to some extent. So when other countries print money, then that reserve actually devalues. You don't get additional percentage-wise. So holding crypto is a good strategy, and many countries recognize that. Many countries also have a small gold reserve, but gold is hard to deal with, really. And in addition to holding Bitcoin, Bitcoin is great, but Bitcoin has less developers, less innovation, less aggressive development, etc. Something like the altcoins, like the BNBs, the Ethereums, other smaller coins, they're slightly different. They have more development going on. So they're higher risk, but also potentially higher return. So as a country, you don't want to bet on a single asset. You got to diversify. Like countries are large entities. When you have billions of dollars, you have to diversify a little bit. And when for the world leaders that are willing to meet with me and take my advice, obviously they value my advice. If they value my advice, they usually value our ecosystem as well. So BNB is a very natural asset for them to accept. Also, when they accept BNB into their crypto national reserves, there's usually a higher tendency for the ecosystem to deploy more heavily there. So they will deploy more. Easy Labs may invest more in that ecosystem. There's more BNB developers in that we can bring, or that we can grow, educate in that ecosystem. So there's more economic activities that's closer to our ecosystem there. So there's more like just a closer relationship in terms of a country versus the ecosystem. I also always promote other cryptocurrencies as well, not just BNB. I always promote Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the top altcoins as well. So I view myself as a crypto sales guy, although I hold a large amount of BNB, so I'm naturally incentivized there. But I also promote crypto in general.
So coming back to Bitcoin and Satoshi Nakamoto, if you had one question that you could ask to Satoshi, what would that be, apart from his wallet keys?
I would actually really be curious. How did he think of it, right? What was his background? Because you can't invent something out of the vacuum. So he had to have prior experiences, knowledges that kind of build up to that point. And I would probably ask him what were his experiences that allowed him to come up with it, and also did he foresee how you would develop over he went away, right? Which is very smart, I think. Otherwise, he would have so much political attacks, so much scrutiny on him, etc. So I went through all this trouble just because, we run one platform in the industry. He would have so much pressure on him. So I'm glad that he went away, became quiet, or became unknown. I would hope that we never know him. Just for the benefit of the industry and for himself. But if I were able to ask him a question, I would be very curious to how did he come up with it, and was he able to sort of see that far into the future? Because I am not good at forecasting into the future.
So see, I'm very curious. How can I learn what you are learning so I can be closer to the sort of opportunities that you are exploring?
I just read books, really. So that's my main way of learning. I just buy books on Audible, Amazon. That's it. All the information is out there.
Top 3 recommendation?
I have a book recommendation list, but the top 3 is probably one is The Law, which is a very small book written in 1850. Says what laws should be. It's very simple. We should protect the human liberty. We should protect the person's self, liberty, and property. That's really it. But anyway, and then there's another. Sapiens is probably one of my top recommended books. And I have a list of 50. There's some really good books. And also learn to risk manage. So the information is out there. For younger people, you can take a slightly higher risks because you have power to earn in the future. You don't have to save too much, and save because your earning power when you're younger is lower. But so you should try to reinvest in yourself. Reinvest mainly in learning, in building up your skills. Investing in yourself is always good. Less, that doesn't mean like, you party every day. That's not investment. That's just enjoying life too early. Doing that too early is usually not good. Delayed gratification does work. So the longer you can delay gratification, the bigger gratification you most likely will have in the future. So and also learn core skills that you can apply. The world is changing very quickly. Learn about AI, learn about programming, learn about marketing. Any skill that you can that's valuable in a team. I I highly recommend people to learn about entrepreneurship and being part of it, etc. So I think that's the future. The future belongs to innovators and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneur doesn't mean you always have to be the CEO. You can be like the head marketing guy, or even the second marketing guy, or the one of the tech leads, one of the QA leads, one of the community managers. All of that you can be part of a valuable team. So that's what I encourage people to learn. Also, financial literacy is very important. Schools do not teach you financial literacy. So you have to go online. There's plenty of information on YouTube, but it's just scattered all over the place. There's plenty of books you can read. There's plenty of people you can talk to. I spend about an hour or two a day reading.
Every day?
Every day, yeah.
This is usually in the morning or the evening?
This is usually in the evening, usually before I go to bed. And then that usually puts me to bed pretty quickly.
So it's not crypto Twitter, it is actual learning from...
Yeah, crypto Twitter is good for staying up to date on what's happening in the community, but it's not really good for deep learning. When you're learning, you have to sit down, spend a few hours to dive into a topic. Yeah, so I don't read articles that much. When you read an article, it's 3, 5, 10 pages. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. When you read it, you'll agree with everything that's said in it, and you will think, oh, that's great, I'm gonna do it. But when you put it down, they don't sink in because you only spend 5, 10 minutes into it. Whereas I find it with a book, you spend a few hours, and the books dive into examples, different aspects of it. You spend 4 to 8 hours on a topic, and that goes really deep. And when you put the book down, some parts of it stays with you. That's what I feel.
Just lastly, you had recently had a debate with Peter at the Binance Blockchain Week.
Yeah.
Give us a summary of it.
Well, I mean, he did 80% of the talking. I just brought a good bar on stage, and I think that kind of won the internet. So the internet just cut that piece out, and that looked great. Look, going into the debate, we knew that he wasn't going to convince me. I wasn't going to convince him, and the arguments are pretty old. The arguments have been there many, many times. So I think Peter is so close to understand. He knows all the problem with money. It's just that his solution is gold. His solution wasn't Bitcoin. He still thinks that gold is somehow, just because it's physical, there's tangible value. He understands that gold's value doesn't come from the industrial value of gold, like where we use it. But he just couldn't accept that Bitcoin as a virtual digital thing is the same. So he's just so close. But it's a fun debate. I think he's a gentleman, actually. He debates his points. He's just very stubborn, but he's not. He doesn't attack people personally. He's a nice old guy. I like him a lot. We're actually friends now.
So with BTC, what do you think? When do we see it hitting $1 million? Do you have anything in mind, or have you gone past that and you will always be holding your BTCs?
So I don't know when. I'm always holding. So for the foreseeable future, I don't see BTC going away. So for the next 20, 50 years, I think Bitcoin will continue to go up. I just don't know how fast, when. There's going to be a lot of volatilities like this. So it's very hard to predict short term, even medium term. But I do think that I'm not worried 5 years, 10 years later, BTC will hit $1 million, will be more than that. I think we'll continue to grow for the next 50 years.
Last question. So yeah. Pakistan has started its journey today with the NSE. What is your message to other regulators who are still trying to figure it out? What is the risk mitigated approach to do this for the future of the country?
Sure. So I think, there's a lot of risk not regulating crypto. You're going to miss out on the industry, and then you actually have less access to data. Many countries that don't have crypto regulations have large populations of people using crypto already. They just don't have. They just don't regulate it. So having clear regulations actually benefits the regulator plus the country, and also it makes it more clear to the population that this is how you access crypto. And over time, I think crypto regulations will become more and more favorable. And the countries who regulate crypto late are going to be at a significant disadvantage compared to the countries that regulate crypto early. So the U.S. is leading, right? U.S. is going to continue to push
So
forward.
it's US, then
Abu Dhabi gave us a license a couple of days ago. Pakistan, we got a license today. Many other countries are moving forward pretty quickly as well. So I think, but it's still a small number of countries that are moving very quickly. So it's just, I would say a couple dozen countries. And most of them are still early. But this couple dozen countries are going to reap the benefits. It's going to be very clear in 10 years from now.
the price of inaction is way more than the price of action.
Way more, yeah.
Thank you so much, CZ. We can't thank you enough for all your support and guiding Pakistan on this journey.
It's my pleasure. It's my duty to. Thank you,
Thank
Bilal.
you so much.
Thank you,
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.